woke up in a lucid dream. Now we're hunting for the shards. We might be an oddball team, but at least we've got no bards. World Walkers.
Hi, I'm Pedro, the GM and creator of World Walkers. In our last episode, the group survived an encounter with winged monstrosities, protecting not only each other, but the lives of every person aboard the Falcon. Now, the airship approaches the travel city of Cosnick, where the group wishes to secure passage on their way to the eastern edge of the steam-powered world of Cog. Is there anything you guys want to do on the ship before you hit the travel city of Cosnick?
Drop things off the side.
I'm assuming that there's enough time for it to count as a full rest, so we're all back to everything we had?
Yep, 2 days.
Yes,
So.
Tin would like that very much, yeah.
Vasa would like to use her newfound standing as hero amongst the ship to kind of walk around and see if it has anything. Just kind of like looking around, see if there's storage. What's that room over there? What's that over there?
Yeah, they actually have a whole cargo area. It looks like they've got a few jobs after this. So there's all kinds of goods if you wanted to get up ends.
Such as?
Well, so if you start exploring, popping open crates and stuff like that as you can, you would see one box is just full of different types of seeds. Another box, this particular box you come up to is pretty well sealed up. So would you like to crack it open?
What does the box look like?
So this box is 5 feet by 5 feet, and it's just a large wooden crate, but it's nailed down top to bottom on the lid, like all around the edge. It's completely nailed down, and then it also has a series of leather straps with locks on them.
Does it have any inscriptions on it? Any imagery?
Nothing. Nope.
Can I lean in and sniff it? What does it smell like?
It doesn't have any particular scent. Not anything more overwhelming than the ship's general greasy, steamy self.
Mm-hmm. If I rap on it, does anything respond from within?
Whatever's in there is incredibly heavy.
Vasa thinks to herself that it might be gold. But then again, she's in good standing, so she'll just keep an eye on it, but not bother it much. She also would like to... Hang on a sec, Oh yeah, you know what? She's gonna pilfer some of those seeds. Just a little handful.
Mark them as falcon seeds.
Falcons don't come from seeds. Unless they do on the steam planet of Cog.
They're called eggs, Pedro.
God, Pedro.
Alright, then Vasa's... She's just gonna go back and go with the crew.
Alright, anyone else tending to any kind of business before we get there?
Seeing that there's no more danger, Roboto has walled himself into a room and shut down to low power mode. He doesn't like flying at all, and he's ready to go if someone needs him, but otherwise he's just walled himself off.
It's just like, nope.
Is he having kind of a Timon and Pumbaa style reaction when Simba hooks up with Nala about Brummelstone? And is that kind of going on a little? Just
yes,
like you can see what's happening.
I can see what's happening.
What?
Yeah.
And they don't have a clue. They'll fall in love, and here's the bottom line. Our down to
Roberto, something that you might not know about your version of the Forge, it's a little different than Tin's in that on Obrimos, the Forged, as you know, are comprised of an elemental stone, right, that holds an elemental. And so in some ways, you're actually more of an elemental than like a golem-type creature, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you choose to sleep, the Forged on your world call it Unchained, because they can kind of let their elemental spirit kind of drift off back into the elemental plane of their origin. So, like, if you choose to sleep, if you choose to drift off or meditate, you kind of are, like, halfway between worlds when you do that.
Interesting.
Just to let you know.
Am I aware? Was the Roberto aware of this?
Yeah, he would know. He's probably done it before.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, like when you choose to sleep, I don't think I've ever. I tried to abbreviate all the stuff I sent you guys from the campaign guide, but yeah, when you sleep, that's what happens to you. Like,
Okay.
you just kind of let your spirit release. Not every forge does this, but forge is usually one of the terms they use for is unchaining instead of sleeping.
Okay. It is a perfect escape from this hellish nightmare that we are in right now.
Roberto's going through his emo stage.
Basically, yeah.
Where'd you get that? Why'd you get that tattoo, Roberto? You're not my mom. I don't even have moms.
It's like I hate road trips with the family.
So after about 2 days worth of travel, you make it to the outskirts of the travel city of Cosnick. The Falcon begins its descent towards the docks of one of the oddest cities most of you have ever seen. In the middle of a wide-reaching, peaceful valley is a splendid city of marvels. Paved streets made from some sort of black gravel-like rock make up the pathways of the city. The buildings come in all sorts of shapes and sizes, everything from old steeples that now serve as produce markets to long buildings made of bricks, mortar, and glass. The placement of the buildings seems to be very well planned, as the deeper into the city you go, the higher the buildings get. Just as interesting as the city are the people. From here you can see commoners with one set of clothes to their name, sharing the streets with well-to-do merchants and people of a higher class, wearing what you can only assume are the garments of dukes and duchesses. Everyone seems rushed and cautious. You don't see a carefree face in the crowd. Your eyes are drawn to the large metallic cylinders that hold up yet another layer of the city. Each of these pillars has a steam lift similar to the one you saw in Fallis that takes place between the two levels. The city below the upper layer seems to be the sort of area you would avoid unless you're looking for trouble.
Vasa, while looking around, comments, "These fellas look like they could use a drink."
And the captain's kind of giving out orders, making sure everyone's on top of their game, coming in for a safe entry into the port. And before you guys know it, you're properly docked. And before you go, the captain of the ship comes up to you and says, I know that it sounds like you guys have a lot of plans. You've got a pretty busy schedule, it seems, but I can't get over how impressed I was at what you all did back in the mountains. And I'm wondering if you would be interested in any way, shape, or form in staying on board for a little while, because I could really use this kind of protection. Especially with two gunslingers.
Where exactly do you plan to go that you need protection?
The next place we're going, we're taking a large crate of, I don't know what, to the city of Dormir. You familiar? I'll fill you guys in real quick, just so you know. Dormir was the kingdom that initiated, in a lot of ways, the Mages' War. The war that is the reason why they are forged. And it's also the kingdom that the five masters, the gunslingers, that teach other gunslingers the Gunslinger's Creed and how to craft and create firearms. Dormir had used them to try to create weapons for war. And the gunslingers rose up against them and destroyed most of the city. Like, it wiped out the entire government.
With no other help, as I recall.
Right, just the five of them.
Dang, they're pretty badass.
Yeah.
They are indeed badass. And then they became known as the Five Masters, if I recall correctly. And even though their beliefs and methods differed, they created the Gunslinger's Creed, held by every student. If I recall.
And
Is she sharing this knowledge?
She's talking out loud, yeah.
Okay.
She's sort of staring at in a blank space.
the captain kind of nods and he goes, that is correct. Thank you.
Vasa claps her hands together and she says, well, first of all, if we were ever to do such an escort, we should absolutely know what we're escorting. I say we pop open one of those crates because we gotta make sure we're protecting and escorting the right thing. And not unduly putting ourselves in dangerous way.
Well, we're in dangerous ways if you go to Dormir. There's no way around that. It's a pretty tough city. But, unfortunately, part of the contract of delivering these goods is that I didn't look inside.
They won't know. We won't tell anybody.
Well, I mean, my personal honor would know.
Oh, so that's totally a move where you open it and it kills you instantly, right? Like, they're like, don't open it, and then you open it, and then you die, and it becomes folklore.
I hope not.
It feels that way to me. And I've seen a lot of things.
I'm more convinced than ever not to open it then.
I
wanted to spring a death trap, I guess.
It feels deathy. It's a little heavy on the death. I'd of course want to run this by our new friend. What's her name?
And as you turn to look at Claiborne, you see that she's being escorted down the ship by Brummelstone, and they're kind of heading off together.
Are they giggling like little teenagers?
There might be a snicker or two.
Brummelstone, wait! Are you cool with us leaving for a few days, Brummelstone? Brummelstone!
Vod was like, just leave him.
How aren't we supposed to be like the delivery of the shard is in another city? Like this is just a stopping point. Where's the other city located?
Coston is pretty far from here. It's almost as far as you. What's up?
Is it between where we are now and Dorminier?
No, it's it's pretty much to the east.
Yeah.
So everything is in the opposite direction.
It's about because Cosnick kind of sits in the middle of everything since it's a huge travel hub.
Okay, this is
Yeah.
good.
Vasa just kind of like said that loud. We don't have the time.
Yeah, agreed.
Well, that's too bad. Next time you're at a port, look for us and see if we got any work for you, because I would honestly love to have you with us.
Well, Vasa kind of raised her. She's like, well, wait a minute, Captain. You did say that you owed us for saving your lives back there. We require passage onwards to our destination, wherever that was.
Costin. Yes.
Costin, where Coco lives.
Yes, grandmother. We still require passage to Costin, and if you were to carry us there, that would be proper repayment of
Unfortunately, and I will help you out, but I can't fly you there because airships don't fly that far. Like, you're going to want to take the jump rail if you're going to go there. Ertleby and Tin, you would know this. The jump rail is this huge mechanical steam-driven contraption that people ride pretty much everywhere the airships don't go. They have large rails that travel the planet, taking people to different places. No one knows how they work because the dwarven faction that controls the steam tech over here, the Brotherhood of Iron, they're the only ones that operate it in conjunction with the Proctor Travel Company, the travel company that runs a lot of the ports and businesses connected to traveling.
So Ertleby would tug on the captain and demand or inquire politely about his future travel plans, because if he is looping back eventually to Fallas, maybe he could pick up Tompkins for us.
Tompkins.
Ooh, good call.
He's very short and very dopey. He's got a good heart, but we must never let him know that. He must always vie for our approval. This is the only way our relationship with Tompkins works.
I see.
Anyway, I think we may or may not have sent him a raven, in which case he could already be on his way here, but...
You sent him a
could
raven?
also make... Yes, the second raven, actually. It's, very cool. I would say it is twice as fast and furious as the first raven. In that, exactly 2 times. But I'm not sure if we did that or not. I might be remembering.
No, we did.
We did? Oh, okay.
Yes.
How long would it take, theoretically, if Raven Too Fast, Too Furious were to make it there? How long would it take a Raven to get there and back?
And he looks at you guys and he's like, if you don't know, I don't know. I don't know the travel speed of a raven.
No, really? You call yourself a captain?
Yeah.
Friends, I think we should spend this time going around Cosnick and touching everything and really appreciating the flavor of this beautiful city. And we might actually run into my son Torrance, even though he's a little dirty. And I mean this lovingly, but he needs to shower more. But he's in the city too. I'm just saying.
The captain's, his eyebrows kind of raised. He's like, that's your grandson?
Oh, my son, Torrance.
Your son or grandson? Oh.
Oh, I mean, I also have grandchildren here. Torrance has a wonderful daughter, Monica, and he just had twin boys with his girlfriend, Tressa.
That's wonderful, grandmother. Let's go look for him, yeah?
What?
Yeah?
But I haven't told you about his girlfriend, Tressa, yet.
Well, I would love to meet her in person, and frankly, I am a little bit tired of our encounters with death, so really, Captain, we cannot go with you. Yes?
Do you know Torrance?
Yeah, he's fantastic. He's working at the gallery right now, isn't he? It's a very fancy, well-to-do restaurant, kind of tavern area, and he walks around regaling everybody with stories.
I mean, I guess we can see him. I was kind of... oh, this is going to be awkward.
He's a great storyteller, and I'm sure he'd love to see you.
Well, I would like to see his... Yes, let's go. Let's go see Torrance. This is a good idea and something I want to do.
And he says, real quick, and he pulls out a pouch, and he goes, this should pay your way to Coston.
Boss's brows go high up. Excellent, Captain.
And
Thank you.
it is an immensely heavy pouch. Lots of gold. He's like, there's one, two, yep. This should pay for you.
Wow. We are in your debt, Captain.
No. Our debt's paid. Hence the pouch and my lack of funds.
It's a figure of speech. Just take the compliment.
Somebody's salty about Brummelstone having a new lady.
Yes, a little bit.
As Vasa is accepting the heavy bag of gold, she says, "We shall accept this as a token of your gratitude, Captain, but I believe there is no true way to measure the service we rendered upon you and your men.
He just kind of rolls his eyes and he goes,
We
it's
will
been a
collect
pleasure.
one day, but this
you
is
want
a
to head
good
over
start."
to Proctor Travel Company over there. They're going to sell you the tickets to the jump rail. It's been a pleasure. And he just kind of nods and turns around and starts working with his crew to get the ship ready.
Earlby would like him to sign her exfoliation book. So she goes up. She's like, please sign.
And so he writes his name, Captain Gideon of the Falcon.
Thank you, Captain Gideon of the Falcon.
He just kind of smiles and nods.
Vasa would have made a wave at the crewmen. He's like, enjoy your flight, crewmen. Enjoy your lives, paid for by our blood. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. How much gold was in the bag?
The gold in the bag is 700 gold, enough to pay your way to Coston.
That's so many elephants!
I was going to say, that's enough for a lot of elephants.
Holy crap.
Vasa will give, she'll quickly go through it, and she thumbs through the gold so quickly, you're like, how could she possibly have counted all that? But you know she did. She gives Ertleby, Tin, and Robordo each roughly, what turns out to be 100 gold.
Well, this seems very fair, and I trust you completely, Vasa. Thank you.
Yeah. I don't notice anything weird about this transaction.
And I will pass on the same amount to Brimstone when we find our love-struck brother.
All right, so you...
But before we go, nobody tell Torrance we have money. Just don't even bring it up, okay? Okay. Now let's... Sorry, Pedro, keep going.
All right, so you depart from the airship, and once you come down, the area is extremely busy. There are airships all over, but the one place that's completely flooded with people is the Proctor Travel Company's main building, which is where they do all of their business. You're going to have to kind of fight to get your way in there, though, and it might be difficult to stay together. It's so busy in there.
Can Tin kind of take the charge and be like, beep, 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 and split the crowds?
Yeah. So Tin goes forward, starts kind of pushing, moving and shaking people, and kind of helps herd you all together as you make your way to the first line, where you wait for about a half hour. The line moves very slowly. People at the booth don't seem too concerned with making sure the line moves faster. Everyone in line has a different question or concern or complaint. This is unlike anything most of you have probably ever encountered on your worlds. Because, frankly, this level of commerce doesn't exist on your worlds.
Wow.
Yeah, your line starts outside the building. The building is this huge, beautiful structure with large panes of glass up top. It's surrounded by beautiful pillars with intricate designs on them that don't seem... Even Ertleby and Tin know that this is art for art's sake. That doesn't mean anything. It's just like, this would make us look more dignified. Like, it has all these kinds of symbols and stuff, but they don't mean anything. They're just flourishes. You wait for a half hour, and then finally you get in...
sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to ask, what does the person who's standing in front of us look like?
The person standing in front of you is a heavy-set person with long brown hair that, although it doesn't start at the top, it ends towards the buttocks region. They have a large axe on their back, and they have the furs of different animals that they've killed. And he looks completely out of place with the rest of this dignified city.
Yeah, Vasa may or may not have sized him up and done nothing.
Hello, young man. Hello. Hello.
He turns around and he's like, good day.
What nice hair you have.
Oh, thank you very much. It's quite a pain to maintain, but it's needed.
From where do you come?
Excuse me?
Well, from whence hail ye? I'm sorry, you just have an axe and you look strange, so I'm using a weird way of speaking.
That's because I am an actor.
What? Are you fluent in the word?
No, I'm no bard. No, that's who writes the scripts, but I am an actor.
Can you teach us acting?
And he kind of smiles, like as if he gets this a lot. He's like, "Well, I unfortunately, no, not right now. I cannot. But thank you for your interest, and have a nice day." And he turns around.
He must be very important. Are you a famous actor?
He turns around and he says, "I've done some productions I'm quite proud of. Yes."
Like what?
Well, have you seen Two Furs and a Trampoline?
No, but I've been in other planets.
That's for the best. That's my worst.
Do his axes look real?
No.
Yeah, Vasa's gonna reach out.
Upon examination, no.
Yeah, Vasa's gonna be like, "Oh, what fine weapons you have, actor." And she kind of like reaches out to sort of test one of the edges of the axis with her thumb just to see if it's sharp or not.
No, it kind of bends when you touch.
Yeah, she says, "Oh, hey, can I see that?" And she, without waiting, tries to grab it off of him.
He looks like he has to deal with this a lot. As if, like, when he travels, people are always asking him about his career and what he has to deal with. So he just kind of smiles and nods and waits.
And then Vasa says, "Oh, I always wish I knew what to do with axes, really, because, swinging them is just so hard for me." And then Vasa kind of, like, does a few test swings, and then, whoops, she actually lets the axe fly, and it flies, like, 50 feet away.
The wind catches it a little.
Yeah, the wind catches a little light crop. And Vasa goes, Oh my, I'm sorry."
He kind of thinks about it for a second, then he sizes you guys up, and he's like, "It's not mine. It's the studio, so they can buy me a new one. I'm not getting back in line."
And Vasa says, "Yeah, good thing my blades are real. I've been meaning to, cut my hair lately, and I think I would do it something like this." And she kind of like whips out a
He
dagger.
backs up as soon as you start talking. He's like, "If I were you, I would not brandish those weapons in this city. Are you not familiar with the Brotherhood of Iron?"
Vasa pauses as she's twirling her dagger, and she says, "Go on."
The Brotherhood of Iron, the dwarven collection that runs this fine city, They're also the government and the city guards and the jump rail operators, and they don't take kindly to violence in their city.
Voss is also an actor. That's a fake dagger. She's a very good actor. Isn't that right, Vasa? Pokes you in the wound.
Vasa twirls her dagger a little bit. Yes, I had you going, didn't I? I am actually playing a murderer, but that's just all acting. And she sheaths her dagger.
He's like, well, as a fellow actor, I would appreciate it if you returned my axe.
Oh, I can't. I'm actually very weak because I'm not a very successful actor. I haven't eaten in a while. I can't go very far.
You must struggle in your profession then, since that was mostly made of foam.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. So he turns around. He's done with you.
Vasa leans down and she says, "This is rapidly becoming my second least favorite city."
Guys, think of what we could have done with the actor as our NPC if we hadn't just trolled him so hard. But now I'm really committed to trolling him really hard instead of getting him to join our party. Young man, hello,
he turns
young
around
man.
one more time. Yes.
Do you know the bard here?
Torrance? Yeah.
He's my son.
Very nice. Very nice. Congratulations. He's a fine bard.
He's very good.
Yes.
He's bad at a lot of things, but pretty good at that.
I'm sure he appreciates you saying that.
Yes.
And he turns around.
Wait, I didn't even get to ask you for free tickets to your play.
He leans forward to somebody and talks to them for a second, and then produces a little bit of coin, and then buys his way in front of them, and then continues doing this for 3 more slots until there's 3 people ahead of you.
We could have had such adventures with that young man.
So much coin to spend freely. He must be a very successful actor. And Vasa kind of leans out of line. She says, "Oh, successful actor! Look, it's a famous actor over there, right over there, the guy with the hair. Look."
And he turns around. He's like, "Why are you so mean? I know any of you." And he gives you a wink, and everyone's kind of frightened, and they step back, like, "Who is this guy?"
Oh, he just winked at us. We're friends now.
Oh, he's faking his like.
Are we friends now because you winked?
Vasa steps out of the couch. She's like, "What do you mean? We're friends!" And she cuts in front of the people that he bought his way, and goes to throw an arm around this actor, but "We're friends. Look, this is my famous actor friend." And then she kind of motions for everybody else to also cut the line.
People
Join
are
her.
real mad as soon as you cut the line. Like, they start kind of bickering, complaining, and he's like, "I will be forced to call the Brotherhood
But you
For
winked.
line cutting?
for this continued harassment."
Oh, okay.
Look at that checks. And people behind you are getting more and more mad. You need to get back in line. You think I've been here since this morning so that you can stroll on up and make actor friends and try and get in good with somebody? You need to get back there right now.
Wait. How long have the people been in line?
The people
that's
here say they've
hours
been in
now?
line for the whole morning.
Well, get yourself some charisma. Maybe you'd make some friends yourself. But Vasa kind of looks at the team and she says, "This city needs more than a drink. I don't know if 2 drinks could help this city."
What are we in line for again? Sorry.
At this point, you're not sure if you know, but you were told to come into this building in order to secure passage on the jump rail.
Oh, really? I thought we were going to I thought we were in line for a restaurant this entire time.
I'm very sorry. No.
I've been very confused. Everyone in line, I apologize. My behavior was just because I thought we were in line for art. This is not how you behave when you're in line for tickets. And Erleby walks back several.
Actually,
No,
we have to keep
it
going.
makes sense. It's like they were
It's
told
like
to go to a line, and
we
they
were
just all got
actually-
to a line with different concepts of what
Yeah.
they were doing.
We had no
Very
idea.
classic of the team.
We're actually lost. So
Yeah, we're lost.
that's okay. That's totally fine.
So after a half hour, you guys do get inside the building, and the people in front of you are talking about how relieved they are that finally the line started moving. Once you get inside, you are directed to go into different lines based on what you want. Since you guys all want the jump rail to Coastin, you are directed to another line. And that line only takes you about 15 minutes before you jump into the next line. And the next line is basically based on what sort of seating you would like. Would you like the bare minimum? Would you like what they call basically first class? Or would you like the exquisite seating section?
How much are these?
The price for a ticket to go to Coastin in the base level is 116 gold and 6 silver.
Oh,
What's the first class?
The first class, if you want to go that way, is 300 gold apiece.
Bullshit.
We got stiffed by the captain.
yeah.
It's all right. I will pull from my personal stores to
Yeah.
find out.
Thank you, Vasa. You are so
Yes.
generous.
We are a team. We are on this one thing together. So, I guess Vasa would collect the 100 from each of the team members, and then step forward to purchase exactly 5 tickets.
So if you're going to get in line for the base, that line's pretty long and pretty slow moving. The line for first class is serving drinks right now and seems to be moving at a pretty quick pace. And then they take them into a special room if they're buying the next level. So you continue to wait for probably another hour and a half. And then finally you get up there and the ticket lady, she is a very short, frizzled, hairier than you're comfortable with halfling. And she says, so where are you going?
We are
Coastin.
heading to the...
Turtle speak.
One person. I can't hear all of you at once. It's really
Sorry.
weird.
Coastin.
Coastin, that's nice. That's nice. And then she mumbles something that sounds like it's supposed to be friendly banter, but she never makes it loud enough for you guys to participate. And then she rings you up 116 and 6 silver. And then she passes you these small copper coins with intricate designs in them. And she's like, this is the token to get on. Don't lose it. No refunds.
Okay. Where can we put these that they'll be safe?
I'd put them in your pouch or your pocket. I don't know, underneath your hip.
Is she really bad at small talk?
Yeah, she just looks like tired and angry.
Let's try to get her to join our party, everybody. Hello,
No.
young lady.
I think I've had enough of this room and these people, and Vasa seems a little bit irritated as well.
Mhm.
She's like, let's just go.
Yeah, let's get out of here. Does that waiting in line count as a long rest?
No, it doesn't even count as a short rest, unfortunately. All right, so you finally make your way out of the area and down the darkened paved roads. Where are you heading to?
When does our boat, the jump rail leave?
2 days.
2 days. Okay. Oh, okay. So we can probably head over to see Ertleby's favorite son now, right? Ertleby?
Are you sure you don't want to see that actor's play? I'm interested. He had an axe.
I don't know. You guys are kind of mean to him, and I feel like I was supposed to feel bad, but I
But
don't
grandmother,
understand.
I would love to see these children that you're always going on and on about. Let us see finally your son, this bard figure, who everybody seems to know.
Yes. Yes. Let's go see Torrance.
You guys make your way through the city. It's bustling and busy. What's your passive perception checks?
16.
11.
Wait, no, I think
11.
I lied. I actually meant 12.
Uh-oh. We're in a peaceful city, Pedro. Have mercy.
Ertleby takes this time to apologize. She's like, I'm sorry if I've seemed underwhelmed about meeting Torrance. Obviously, I love him very much, just as I love all of my children and most of my grandchildren. He's had money trouble in the past, and it's led to awkward encounters. So hopefully he's not in massive amounts of debt to the Brotherhood.
Vasa kind of perks up at that and she's like, what? Your son is in a lot of debt and hunted by the city officials?
Oh, hopefully not. He's had problems in the past.
But it seems to, like, a lot of people here seem to know his name. So I would like to think maybe since the last time you've seen him, he's somehow found success.
Yes. Maybe. Let's say maybe.
No, Vasa's nose is twitching a little, and she kind of looks at Erlovisa, and she's like, Grandmother, if we were to associate ourselves with your son, might we place ourselves in a compromising position? Grandmother?
No, he's... Just don't believe, like, 2/3 of what he says. It's one of the things that makes him a good bard and a really bad confidant. He really likes lies.
Roberto and Vasa, you notice that people here are really rough. They bump into you, and there's two people that bump into you that, like, you kind of see them coming at you, and you both move out of the way, like, geez, what's wrong with this city? They're so vicious. But luckily, no one's really, like, bumping into or, like, messing with Tin or Ertleby, it seems.
Does my bag feel lighter all of a sudden? Probably not. Never mind.
Yeah, well, Tin she knows at all times, you know? She's very conscious of how much money and how many things are worth. So she would instantly get a sense of, I feel like I'm missing 90 gold.
That's an astute observation.
Well, she is a machine, so she,
weight.
like, exact amount of grams that are gone. She's like, that is exactly enough for 90 gold coins.
Yep.
Yeah, you see Tin reach for her pouch, like, suddenly, and then pull up an empty pouch.
Oh.
Can I look around and see if there's anyone that, like, is making off quickly?
No one.
Can Vasa also quickly scan the crowd as well the moment Tin brings this to light?
Yeah, give me a perception check.
All right. Bloodhound Vasa is on the job. Bork. All right. So she rolled a 19?
Nope.
Yeah.
All clear.
No.
Oh.
Tin is fuming because she knows that her dreams of getting an elephant have been quickly dashed.
No.
We had so much money, we lost it all over the course of, like, a morning.
Yeah, so you unfortunately find your pouch to be made and consisting only of leather.
They took everything, Tin?
The thing that Vasa you actually kind of pick up on is the fact that her pouch is empty. Her pouch is not missing.
Mm-hmm.
That's skill.
Yeah, it is. In fact, the moment that Vasa would have, like, straightened up to scan the crowd and with her sharp eyes, the fact that she can't see the thing instantly makes her go like, shit.
No.
But can I just share with the group? Pedro messaged me and he goes, how much gold do you have? And I was like, 90. And I made a sad face because everything is so expensive in the city.
Oh,
and then he goes,
God.
not anymore. And he made a sad face back at me.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Yes, dear, the same thing happened to me, but I only lost 10 gold. We should really make sure nobody steals, the you-know-what. Starts with an S.
And Vasa just kind of, like, winks, kind of nods down at Ertleby, and she says, they'll have to try their best.
It's in my butt.
Vasa, you should put it in your butt.
Thank you for that, Pedro.
I don't know why I said that.
Can she just, like, look down and find maybe, like, a single, almost like a copper, just a copper piece that's, like, on the ground? It's like, I got one.
You actually do see a copper piece on the ground, but before you can reach it, some little kid picks it up and runs off.
Can I trip that kid before they run off?
You can go for it if you'd like to trip a child.
Yeah, I'm gonna try tripping that kid.
Give me an attack roll.
She has nothing to lose.
Quarantine is ruthless.
I'm writing down a title suggestion. Hold on a second. It's called 10 Trips a Kid.
I love it. I got a 17.
Yeah, the kid goes crashing to the ground. And the coin falls out and kind of rolls like a little bit.
Tin picks up the coin.
Vasa actually would speed over to the gate and crouch over him. What does the kid look like?
He just looks like he wasn't meant to have a description. He has a small little ginger full of freckles and missing teeth.
Yeah, Vasa will be like, oh my, that was quite a tumble you did. And she'd sort of like jostle him up as in the pretense of trying to help him stand up, but she's actually quickly patting him down to see if he's hiding anything on his body.
Yeah, a weapon.
And then when Vasa's hand stops over that, she kind of looks directly into the child's eyes. She's like, that's quite a dangerous thing for a young lad like yourself to carry.
And he pulled out his slingshot and he's like, really?
Oh, you should have told me it was a slingshot. But anyway, and then, is there anything else to be found?
He looks like a typical lower income child. Like maybe he lives down below and snuck up here in the hopes of something better.
Hey kid, what's your name?
My name's Cosnick, and I'm 10 years old, and I've been trying to find a way to live up here for the past 2 weeks. Do you guys have any work that I could do? Are you guys hiring at your different jobs that you have?
Grandmother, do you know your way around the city?
I've visited Torrance and his children a couple times, yes. I know a few places, I think.
And how many places do you know, little chum?
I've been probably a third of the city since I snuck up here. I'm not supposed to be up here.
And do you have a friend here?
I don't have any friends up here, and he just keeps looking still.
Well, you must. You're looking for them.
No, I'm trying to make sure that, like, maybe the Brotherhood isn't around, because I don't want them to throw me back down.
Well, you survived so long as a street child. You have to know if there is a thieves guild in the city, or some kind of organized crime.
Do you think I should join a thieves guild?
No, I'm just wondering.
I don't know. I can start looking for one, I guess. And he kind of shakes free of you a little bit and takes off running.
Hey, wait, I have food.
He comes back. Really?
How about this, kid? We're heading to the gallery. How about I'll give you this one. Okay, can I have like a bunch of rations I never use? Can I give him one ration?
Yeah.
And I'll be like, hey, you give this, and like you look around for any pickpockets, or if you have any information on pickpockets. We're going to be at the gallery later. Come find us there.
Absolutely, I'll find him. He quickly like unwraps the ration and starts eating it as he runs down the street.
I don't know if that was the right thing to do, but
Tin looks around for any other kids that she might be able to trick.
She's been here one day and she's already become one with the street life.
Can she get like top hat, like for London popper style, and like a ratty old jacket?
Oh, we forgot to ask for directions to the tavern.
I know the way.
So you head on over?
We do.
All right. When you come across the gallery finally, you see it's a long building with pillars at the entrance that support nothing. Like the pillars are there purely for decoration. Again, with those intricate markings that really don't mean anything. It has no windows at all. Like the entire building is sealed up inside. There's a small line. It won't take you too long to get in.
Who's ahead of us?
Just a old elderly couple.
how old?
The city and lines.
It's two dwarves, so they're old. Like, they look elderly, which means they're far older in terms of like a human's age, but white hair, wrinkles.
Dwarves here take a long time to get to know. Or it'll be with Stage Whisper. They don't really like humans. And like, by the time they're maybe gonna consider you their friend, you die. But my son Grover has done quite well making friends with them.
Yeah, both Tin and Ertleby would know that, the the dwarves that pretty much guard and control the advancement of steam tech on COG, that's very true. They don't ever really interact with other people. They try to make it a rule never to associate with the other races for the most part. Depending on how knowledgeable you are on the history of COG, either both or one of you would know that they're the safekeepers of the knowledge of steam tech given to them by the gnomes who passed it down and then disappeared from the planet.
Considering what the city is like, I bet there were young people when they first got into line.
You guys are able to make it into the restaurant. The old couple is served, and walking into the restaurant, you find yourselves at the front of a long hallway. A single luxurious red carpet stretches from end to end, with tables scattered about. Your eyes are immediately drawn to the various works of exotic art hanging from the walls. Paintings, statues, rugs, and more. Diverse pieces decorate the pearl-hued surfaces. Walking from table to table with grand gestures and questionable fashions is a walking storyteller with short but light auburn hair, a boldly exposed neckline, and a forgivable smile. A stone pedestal stands before you with a single sheet of parchment, a quill, and a small bottle of ink. The woman behind the pedestal allows you a moment to take in the majestic quality of the restaurant before she brings herself into your world. She steps up and she lets her presence fill yours. At least that's how she feels about it. And then she says, "Welcome, and thank you so very much for considering the gallery, Cosnick's finest art/tavern, stronghold, monument. How many will be sitting with you today?"
How much does it cost?
To sit? Oh, that's to simply enjoy the gallery, to partake in the wondrous works of the bold and daring arts that we've collected for you. The rotating gallery? Oh, that doesn't cost you anything. It's our privilege to provide you with an experience such as this.
4 of your finest free seats.
And she kind of laughs, and she looks around and she leads you in. You can see this kind of bold and loud but clean-looking individual walking around, and he smiles at you and nods, and he continues doing his storytelling and stuff. And you're seated at a table, and she says, "We'll be right with you with menus."
The second Ertleby saw Torrance, she started, clapping quietly and happily, and all is forgiven for her right now. She's just so excited to see him.
Is that your son?
Yes, the one with the deep V.
The deep.
It's a deep V neck. You're a robot. Yes, it's like when you have a shirt and then you button it down halfway. He just likes that look.
Oh, I've
Would you
seen
like
humans
one?
do this to expose their chest hair.
He is not doing it for that purpose.
Oh,
As in, he does not have chest hair.
why does your son have no chest hair?
I think he gets it from my husband's mother's side. They're hairless people. It really worried me when I found out. But we chose to reproduce, so I knew the risks.
I see.
Shall bring follicles back to this bloodline.
This is really much nicer than I was expecting. I'm pleasantly surprised. Maybe Torrance has got his life together.
You guys get your menus, and you kind of look over them and start making some choices, considering. And then this boisterous individual walks over to you and says, "And how are you doing?" And he smiles directly at Ertleby.
I am an adventurer now.
Oh, really? Oh, really? Since when?
Since I got commanded to be an adventurer by the King of Dreams, come give me a hug.
Oh, sure. And he comes and gives you a hug. And he says, "How are you?"
Very good. You're very sober right now.
Yes. Well, I am at work. I don't partake in the drink until after hours.
Well, I'm so happy to hear that. Friends, you should meet my son Torrance. Everybody introduce yourselves.
Hi, everyone. Hello. And he kind of straightens up a little bit, and he kind of bows towards you, and he says, "What are you doing here?"
We came to see you.
That's great. That's wonderful.
Ertleby said some really bad things about you.
That's now. All right.
I did, but then I took them back a second ago, didn't I?
Oh, okay. I understand now. This is a social faux pas. Okay. Sorry, Ertleby.
It's okay, Mr. Forged.
Right. Mother, how have you been?
Very good. I'm pretty awesome right now. We are saving the world. By the way, don't go to sleep near me because I don't want you getting murdered. So if you see me asleep, you should leave. Just leave the area.
It's a little bit of sadness creeps into his eyes as he hears you talk like this, and he's like, Sure thing, Mother. Sure thing.
Have you met Vasa?
Just now. And he says, Vasa, hi, my name is Torrance. And kind of bows and offers his hand.
Yeah, Vasa would clasp it harder, like, Torrance! Son of grandmother, I have been dying to meet you. How are you?
And in the moment you do that, he kind of fills his arm with strength and kind of brings it back to you too. And he's like, I'm doing rather well. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I heard you were a successful... And she kind of pauses. Bard, you are a successful bard, aren't you?
I am. I have a little bit of a reputation here. I'm both the storyteller and the bouncer for this fine establishment.
And, well, you must be famous because half the people on our way here knew about you. You built yourself up. Nothing that I expected.
Yeah, I've done okay for my... What do you mean?
Oh, no, I was just thinking that... You must be wealthy.
Mother, why are you here?
Adventuring. I told you already, this is my friend Tin. She's a forged.
And financially, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm fine. I mean, I did get robbed on the way here, so I'm very poor. But
Mother.
Besides that, I'm fine. Really, I just need it for elephants. What?
Elephants, okay.
Do you have one?
No. Not with me, Mother, but I'm sure we can get one for you if we get the time for it.
He's using the voice that means he thinks I'm crazy. Man, he won't be saying that when there are nightmares killing everyone around us. And he's like, why didn't I leave when she told me to leave if I ever saw her asleep? Anyway, this is Tin.
Mother,
She's
do you know
a
I
forged.
can hear you?
She's not lying.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Tin is staring this guy down and not liking the way he's talking to Ertleby. So she's just kind of coolly looking at him and not really acknowledging him with any words just yet.
Well, she is tired. In fact, we're all very tired. You wouldn't happen to know a place we could lay our heads, would you?
Yeah, let me ask around and see if I can pull some strings for you. And with that, he says, you have a lovely lunch. And he walks away and begins trying to pull himself together and start sharing stories with other tables again and kind of getting back into his groove. And by the second table, he seems to kind of return to, who he was when he first came in. And there's a couple nearby that's eating, and they just kind of shake their heads in sadness. And who, perceptions again? Vasa has a 15. Who else?
16.
16, thank you.
11.
12, and 10.
11.
Okay, so Voss is the only one that hears. He tells them a story, and then he walks away, and they're like, he's just really fallen apart recently.
Vasa
But
would
yeah.
keep that to herself.
Okay. All right. You have someone come up to take your order. Do you guys go fancy? The prices here start at 1 gold. per item, and they only get higher.
Torrens.
Nothing for a copper?
No. The menu assures you that in its own special way that even the tips start at 1 silver. You notice that as you spend time drinking and relaxing, Torrance hasn't made his way back to you guys. Like, you kind of avoid your general area.
He's thinking about mortality. This is what happens when he thinks I'm crazy. His own mortality, mostly.
Grandma, when's the last time you spoke with Torrance?
It was probably 5 or 6 years ago, I think. If that sounds right. Right after his twins were born.
And was it like, did you guys have any, was it a sad goodbye? Did you guys leave on bad terms?
It was pretty much par for the course with Torrance. That said, he, for all of his foibles, was a great artist, a really superlative bard. On this planet, we call barding doing something with the word. There's the word. The word is the thing that bards do. And that's
actually says that you notice that he doesn't have any instruments. You guys, most of you are used to bards producing some kind of music when they perform, but he's simply go around and talking. But as he hears people, as he speaks, you can see people start to become inspired to a certain extent. But if you're overhearing any kind of stories he's telling Ertleby, you're not impressed with his current work.
Yeah, he sucks now.
Usually when he works, like, you kind of feel like you're filled with inspiration, that you feel motivated or excited. Whatever emotion he's conveying, you can feel it well up inside of you, and you kind of feel like you're a part of the emotions and the story that he tells. Right now, it just sounds like a guy talking.
I mean, maybe he likes this. Maybe the being good at art was making him miserable and unhappy and insolvent, and now that he's bad at it, he's like got his life straightened out. I just don't know what to do.
Eventually you see the lady up front talking to him, and she keeps pointing at you guys, and she's like, go, you get over there, and you like go. And he's like trying to argue with her, but eventually she wins, and you see him come up and start to tell you a story about a mythical bunny-like creature that is on a search to find 3 magical relics across the land, a jack-in-the-box, a small rubber ball, and some kind of metal spring that pours itself like liquid over different surfaces. And it's a pretty trash story.
Roberto's like clapping his hands. He's so excited.
Like, he's just kind of blowing through it really fast.
That was awesome.
Honey, what happened?
What do you mean?
Well, nothing if you're happy. But if you're not happy, you should tell me what happened.
I'm doing great. What are you talking about?
Bunny? Really? I remember some epics from back in the day.
Tin and Ertleby, give me history checks, if you
I'm
will.
on it. Hang on one sec.
12.
17. No,
17.
19.
19. Okay, so nothing really hits you, Tin, but Ertleby, you've heard this story before, and it's not his.
Honey, you're ripping off a famous story. Everyone knows the story of that bunny with the 3 relics.
No. And then as he kind of shifts and moves around a little bit, you see the doors open, and 4 individuals impeccably dressed. They all have finely tailored suits on, and they walk up and they get seated right away, and wherever the hostess was gonna seat them, they walk right past her, and when she starts to protest, one of them turns around, puts a hand on her shoulder, whispers something to her, and gives her something, and she says, of course, and they walk through everybody, and they come up to your table. And they say, excuse us for a moment. We need to speak to this individual, if you don't mind. And they're looking at Torrance.
Okay, you're kind of well-dressed. You're not going to hurt him, are you?
No. And you look at Torrance, and he looks nervous.
Torrance, blink if they're going to hurt you. I'm his mom.
They kind of laugh and say, no, it's nothing like that. But we would wish to speak to you in private, sir.
Can Vasa do a quick perception check to see if she can detect any weapons underneath their clothing?
Yeah.
Nope, it was a 13.
Oh, yeah. So, no, they're just nicely dressed.
Would Tin have knowledge of what the Iron whatever Brotherhood would look like? Would these be?
No, these are all humans of average height. And honestly, kind of weirdly average looks. If you had to pick them out of a lineup, it would be kind of hard. There's nothing that really sticks out about them, except for the fact that they're finely dressed. There's no facial hair. They all have their hair kind of combed about the same way.
Ertleby flings herself in front of Torrance and is like, he has to take care of me. I'm crazy. I think I'm on a dream mission. Come back tomorrow.
And they say, ma'am, if you would please, we'd just take a moment of his time.
Mom rules. She grabs his knees because that's how tall she is.
Vasa would have stood up at this point, and she would look. She says, "Gentlemen, I understand you are here on important business, but clearly it is distressing my dear old friend here to be separated from his son. Surely, whatever business you have, it can be tomorrow. We will not be here by tomorrow."
I need you to make a strength check, Ertleby.
Oh, guess who's got beefy arms? Ertle beef. Ertle beef has got some nice stuff. She's got a +4, 22.
Oh,
Really,
he ain't
really
moving.
high. Not high enough, unfortunately.
No.
So two of them kind of move forward and shove you out of the way, while the other two, they push her 5 feet over. She stumbles into her own chair and goes backwards, and her back cracks against the ground.
My
the
hip.
other two, in the same motion, move forward, and they both take blades out from their back that Vasa you never saw. They actually have scimitars. They're a little weirdly shaped, and they kind of almost are bent in a way, they seem kind of flexible, almost like they can be put into the curve of their own backs. But the moment they pull them out, you're impressed with how quickly they become solid, hardcore weapons as they spin them and they double shank Torrance and then shove him off the blade, and he falls back, goes limp, hits the ground face first, and is bleeding. Thanks for listening to episode 25, 10 Trips a Kid. I wanted to take a moment to kind of break from what I usually do and give a couple shout outs because this is 25 episodes, which is crazy to me. I've been doing this for, 6 months? And I just want to take a second to really sit down and thank people who have made World Walkers possible. Obviously, I want to thank the World Walkers themselves, Jane, Enzo, Wesley, Olivia, for coming together and making all of this happen, being an amazing group, and always working with me to make sure that they're not just having fun, but they're making sure that the podcast is the best that it can be. All the art that they draw during the games they send my way so I can share it with you. And it's just been an absolute privilege to have such a great group. So I want to thank them. And I especially want to thank Megan, because I don't know how many of you know this, but Megan's kind of the reason all this came together. Megan had contacted me. We were friends before the podcast, and she had contacted me and asked if I would want to run a game for her and her friends who were cartoonists. And I said, sure, but I was trying to make something happen, and I was like, can we record it in some way? Can we do something with it? And she said, yeah, talk to the group. And so because of her, all of this came together. So I want to send a big, big thank you to Megan for making this possible as well. I also want to thank my brother, Frank, because he has really stepped up to the plate and helped me launch this. When we first started doing the episodes, I really was kind of in over my head. I didn't know what I was doing. I don't know how to do any of this stuff. Like, I've been GMing for a long time, but I don't know how to make a podcast. At least I didn't know how to make a podcast. And so I leaned a lot on his help, and he was able to kind of earmark where problems were in the podcast. And that was huge. That was a huge help. I don't know if I had the courage to start this whole thing if I didn't have him to kind of lean on. I also need to thank my wife, Jessica, who is just the most incredibly supportive and wonderful person that I ever met. She lets me get away with spending so much time on this. It takes anywhere from 20 to 25 hours to do the entire each episode, and I really only have a day or two a week to do them because I stay at home with my daughter, and she gives me so much time to work on this. If I have to stay up late, she understands. She also is able to look whenever this gets too stressful, whenever I start worrying that I'm messing it up or that I don't actually have, what it takes to do this. She's always there to reassure me and help me not freak out so much. She's just the best. And because I couldn't do this or anything without her. And last but not least, I have to thank all of you, the fans, because obviously without you listening to it, none of this could happen. The fact that you guys want to hang out with us while we play is just the biggest compliment I could ever receive. You guys have been super supportive. I love talking with you all on Twitter and Facebook and wherever else we meet. And you're just the best. I don't know. My whole life has been able to change in about 6 months because of how much support you guys throw at me. Obviously, I also want to thank everyone who supports me on Patreon because that has especially enabled me to really put as much work as I want into this. So I just, again, wanted to thank everyone involved, the World Walkers, my brother, my wife, and I want to thank all of you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for supporting us. And I can't wait to show you what's next.
I love it.
I always get the next line wrong, so I don't ever sing it. Because for a long time, without any explanation, I thought the sweet caress of sex, and I didn't question it. That maybe the Lion King and Disney wouldn't have put that in there.
Wait, no, I can't think of the actual line. What's the actual line?
I don't know. I've never looked it up.
Of Twilight.
Is it? Yeah, Twilight, I think.
There's
the sweet caress of Twilight? That's too many syllables.
Yeah.
There's
The
magic
sweet-
in the air.
The
I know
sweet
that.
caress of Twilight.
Oh, really?
Magic.
That was close.
That song's gonna be stuck in my head for the rest of the night. Thank you.
I might lay that down on this podcast.
Roto's just humming it to himself and then punching himself.
The, like,
Oh my
8-bit
God.
version. Beep, boop, beep. Beep, boop. Beep, boop. Beep, boop. We're not going to do any role playing tonight. I'm just going to make Lion King references the entire
Karaoke
time.
night, guys.
Long live the king. When I said Bartleby was throwing stuff off the side of the ship, I meant Mufasa.
You dug your nails into each piece and then went.
You do that to every box. Long live the king. Long live the king.
What is she doing over there? Don't mind her.
So 1,500 gold,
What?
300 gold apiece.
No. We're going bare minimum.
Cheap.
Bare minimum. Okay, sorry.
Bare minimum. No.
I thought 'cause
Oh, yeah.
when they started thanking you, I was like, "Fossil's
No, we're
moving on."
just really gullible.
Yeah, no. They're like, oh yeah, she's so generous. And I was like, don't worry, guys, I got this. It's worth it for us to make it on our mission. So that's. Did you say 116?
116 gold and 6 silver.
6 silver. Vasa would also
like-
be grumbling this as she's forking out money.
It's very nitpicky pricing.
Hey kid, what's your name?
God damn it.
It's like, guys, you weren't supposed to interact with this one.
Also, what's your life story?
Would you like to join our adventuring party?
Tell us your
What are
bloodline.
your goals?
We are world walkers.